Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Soul's Enterprise and Group Transcendation. Thank you so much for being here, coming here, bringing yourself, checking this out. What is transcendation? We say transcending and celebration. Well, one important fact that it's different every time. What is the same every time is our format, at least the beginning and end. We start off at the very top with an invocation, and then after the invocation, we have a few moments of silence. After the few moments of silence, we ring the bell a couple of times, and then we chant Om out loud together 3 times, and then we state our intentions. So they're out. So they're not inside us. So they can become manifest. And after we state our intentions, we dive in and chat. And we say climb high and dive deep. So we look at, examine what's holding us back from our intentions, what blocks we can remove, and or what can we celebrate. How is it when our intentions are fulfilled? But before we get into all that, let's invoke for a few moments. Grab some water if we need it for a second. Invoking, very personal, very subjective, also objective. Bringing in, inviting, coming in, simultaneously going out. The word that's coming up today for me is arriving. Arriving here. That's what I'm invoking, some arrival. What invocation is coming up for you? Is there a specific word to invoke? Often when we invoke here at Soul's Enterprise, I like to talk about the 4 levels. The self, invoking with ourselves, connecting with ourselves. And then the others, those who are here in our group Transcendation meeting. Then invoking with the collective, everything going on in the world right now, some good times, some intense times. And then last but certainly not least, invoking, well, I'm reaching up, but it's not necessarily up. I like the word source. If you like the word God or higher power or whatever word floats your boat, that which is beyond, that which is hard to speak about, that which is pure, whatever the unnameable is, invoking that for a few moments. Being a big fan of breath work, I like to take a few moments for some deep breaths back to my word for the day, arriving, arriving here with a few breaths. Whatever your word for the day is, as we begin to wrap up this invocation, whatever that word is for you, maybe a few breaths of that. And for our friends on social media, we are going to be stopping the broadcast soon. So please join the Zoom meeting that's in the link, and we can talk and interact on Zoom. So please head over to Zoom. All of our friends on Zoom and those arriving now, we're going to have just a couple moments of silence. Again, the format for today, we have a few moments of silence, and here comes our friend Samuel. Samuel knows the routine. Few moments of silence, then we will ring the Dharma bells 3 times, and then we chant Om out loud 3 times together, and then we will dive into Transcendation. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Group Transcendation, the place where together, as a group, we transcend and we have celebration. So, first, everyone gets to state their intentions. Just take a minute or two, say what's alive right now. If we could wave a magic wand in your life and make anything possible, what would you intend to bring in? Just in 1 or 2 minutes stating your intentions. Everyone gets the opportunity to do that, and you should be able to unmute yourselves. So let's dive in with our intentions first. Who would like to start us off and state their intentions?
It looks like you might have to pick somebody, Souls.
Whoops, I was muted. We're not able to hear you quite yet. I see him. Forgive me the apology. Bonnie, can you hear her speaking? You can? Oh,
I could hear her speaking before the
there's an
picture was on. I
audio
don't know if they're
issue
continuing to
on.
speak.
Yeah, I did say so.
So sorry. Give me
I
one
only said
technical
one
moment
thing,
here.
which was that you might have to pick someone as a joke.
Well, that I heard. Yeah,
But
yeah.
I didn't really say
Ah,
anything in relation to what you asked.
perfect. Well, I can hear you now, so that's good. Um, yes. Okay, go ahead. First, how do we pronounce your name?
It's Sehem. Yeah,
It is Sihem. Okay,
it
great.
is.
Oh, let me type in there. My name is Prasad. Nice to meet you, Sihem.
Nice to meet you too. Nice to meet everybody.
Good to meet you.
I think it's a really interesting question which you asked, and I think my answer to that would be world peace. I'm tired of hearing about wars going on in the world and all this hatred. And I think, it's time we woke up and realized that humanity is so important in this world and we need to care for each other more. We need to show more love. And it just makes me so sad. It just makes me so sad this day and age we're still fighting and we can't resolve matters any other way, it seems. So I'd like to see a change in that aspect.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sihem. Very clear and beautiful.
It's interesting for me. I noticed lately a lot of anxiety, a lot of kind of a feeling of foreboding of doom, and just, and I know part of it is working hard on my own issues, and a lot of things are becoming clearer so that I can let them go. But yeah, I've been really worried about. I mean, yeah, world peace, Afghanistan, even California. The recall it's scary. That could change. Everything is frightening, very frightening. It's very scary. Um, so I guess for me, wanting to, I guess, come more, well, maybe come more inward, because I'm worrying. I mean, yes, I'm not going to stop worrying about world events for sure, long-ranging world events. But I guess for me, trying to break things into smaller segments and um, a bit at a time. Like lately, it's hard to concentrate and get much of anything done. My mind just doesn't want to think. Uh, so just more slowing down, settling in, being in the moment, taking off little chunks at a time. So I guess that's pretty much it.
Hmm. Oh, yeah, it's so beautiful. One thing I've noticed all these years of group transcendation is a theme that comes together, and it seems like it's already uh, coming together. I wanted to put in there, I have the intention of, let's say, dropping judgmentalness, and that's huge. It's something I've been working on for years. And right now, I'm in Costa Rica on this 30-day residency. It's called a reworlding residency, and there's 17 of us, and we're really diving in, looking at a lot of the problems in the world and working on our projects and looking at post-capitalist life, uh, what that could look like. And like one person and I are just oil and water, super triggering. And we started August 1st, so now it's 3 weeks in, and it's an amazing deep dive into, wow, why is this so triggering? And on the macro sort of level, geez, this is how wars start, right? So, um, the judgmentalness and being apart from each other. I don't want to get too far down the non-dual realm, but this is, yeah, very, very alive for me, bringing down some judgmentalness without spiritually bypassing, you know. So, yeah, I look forward to diving into that today with you ladies. And I just got or there's a note from Samuel. He's helping his wife with something important. Thank you, Samuel. Hope you can join us soon. Um, so I will say aho to the intention piece, and what's coming up, and CM, stop me if this is unpleasant or untoward or anything like that, but I'm I love the world peace intention. And without getting too spiritual, I and just want to check in. Have you heard, is it in your beliefs, vernacular, something that's come up, that it kind of starts with the self piece, and even in the household and neighborhood, and that ripples out? Is that a concept? And then, that's how we can start moving towards the world. The, like Bonnie said, the little chunks, the little things. This isn't new concepts for you, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite a peaceful person. I'd like to think so anyway, and I'm not very confrontational. And if I sense there's going to be a heated argument, I tend to walk away. And so I'm very much the opposite to sort of anger and frustration and war in general. So I think it
Mhm.
does start at home. Yeah. So I try and generate peace in my home. And when I go out as well, I like to go to peaceful places. And so I do think it starts off with small steps. It starts off within ourselves. And then hopefully that can radiate through to others. Um, yeah,
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you.
yeah.
Great. So in that case, then what could some next level steps look like? Like, for example, right now there's a bunch of activists here who literally, like, Greenpeace board members, and um, an advisor that was in the White House for 4 years. It's like, wow, amazing. I'm not advocating that sort necessarily, but what what could be a possible thing you can do? The peace that you have in yourself and the peace around your house. Is there something that, a way to, I don't want to say give back with that, let's say give out? Um,
Yeah, I think I could be more forgiving, less judgmental as well, and listen a little bit more as well.
hmm,
Um, Without having my preconceived ideas, without knowing the truth. And I tend to do that sometimes. without knowing the truth, just have these assumptions and then later on find out that it's not true. And I think things like that could be a good start. um, I'm studying counseling at the moment, and that really sort of enables me to become more empathetic and less judgmental towards others. So I'm working on myself,
Nice.
and it's so important to be empathetic, and less
Yeah.
judgmental in this world, because you just become a beautiful person once you become less judgmental. Um,
Hmm.
you know, and you are what you see in a sense as well, aren't you? You know, if you're a judgmental person, then you're going to assume that everybody else is judgmental. So I think
Absolutely.
it starts with oneself, really. Yeah. So
Yeah.
just to be like that.
Nice. How far along are you in the counseling, your
Um,
counseling training?
well, I've completed level 2 and 3. So the next stage now would be to, because I'm going to go into a specialized field, which is CBT, cognitive behavioral
Hmm.
therapy. So I should be starting university in September to continue with my studies doing CBT. So
Oh,
I'll learn more about counseling and how to be, and yeah,
great. So
how to be
that's
more
next
empathetic.
month you start the CBT training.
Next month. Yeah, it's coming around really quick.
Yeah.
So
Ah,
I'm looking
beautiful.
forward to that because it's taught me so much on
Yeah.
how to be a better person and how to be less judgmental, and also how we have like these sort of preconceived ideas of people before we've even met them. So yeah.
Hmm.
And I don't know if you've heard
Yeah.
about transactional analysis. I don't know if anybody's heard of transactional analysis. No.
No, I haven't. Have you, Bonnie?
Uh, it sounds kind of familiar. Maybe I'm very familiar with the CBT, especially for OCD.
Yeah, CBT is
Okay.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
won't go
give
into
us a
it
couple
too much.
sentences on
Um,
transactional. Yeah, just to give us a paragraph on transactional analysis.
it's just really, really interesting how we can relate to somebody. We can have a relationship with someone, and they remind us of, say, a friend or somebody else, and then we then relate to them, and we kind of treat them like that other person. So there's so much that goes on in the psyche that is just fascinating, really. But I won't really go into depths. But yeah, no, it's really interesting, very, very interesting how you perceive the world,
Yeah,
and it's all through
sure.
your subconscious. Um, Something
Uh-huh.
like 70% of how we feel and think is governed by our subconscious. So it's just really fascinating, and to try and change those neural pathways in your brain and to try and change the way we think is not easy, but I'm working
No,
on it. I'm working on
it
it.
takes a lot of work and it's all worth it. It sounds to
Oh,
me like a really deep exploration into projection and transference and
yes,
countertransference. Yeah,
that's right. Yes,
yeah,
yes, yes, yes,
yeah.
yes,
Beautiful.
definitely. And
Hmm.
it just gives you more of an understanding about yourself as well.
Right, right. Back to the peacefulness and non-judgmentalness. If we're already bracing for, someone else to be this way, or expecting that they're going to react this way, and that, the conversation is going to go this direction, or that's going to happen, I can almost feel it in my body, like a tension come up versus just being open, like, what's going to happen? What are they going to say? Like you said, actually listening versus scripting out, oh, what neat thing am I going to say, in
Yeah, that's
reaction.
right. That's right.
Hmm.
Because we're so busy thinking about what we're going to say next that we just don't listen, do we? We're just so sort of
Hmm.
self-absorbed in a sense.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And it takes so
It really
much
does.
practice coming back to present, but so glorious. That's where the magic moments are,
That's right.
right? Yeah. It's just being here. Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing when you start to see these faults in yourself and making that change. It's like a revelation, isn't it? It's almost
Hmm.
like, the beginning of um, something beautiful within yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. The last year and a half, I've really been kind of focused on somatic experiencing.
Oh,
You've
right.
heard of
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's trauma in the body, isn't it? Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Yep.
Identifying the trauma in the body, then releasing the trauma in the body. And in a nutshell, to summarize it all, at least for me, in 2, 3 words, it's the slowing down, right? To actually listen to someone, people to actually be present and not be in the brain and, going into 15 different places.
Mm.
Just slowing down opens up so much, you know. Um, so yeah, it's fun to me right now, adding on this transactional analysis. Hearing that it's not a concept I've heard with those words before. So yeah, thank you for bringing that in. And there's Samuel. Is everything okay with Pauline? You're muted. Samuel, you're muted. Okay, we'll type to him.
You couldn't hear anything I said, could you? Oh, that's so sad. We have a young person that's living with us, and Polly wants to show him all the good stuff in LA. So they planned on going to the Getty today at 11. And so time was of the essence. And you need the ticket to get in.
Right. So we dove in talking about world peace and chunking things down and dropping, releasing judgmentalness, and then threw in a little mix of CBT and some transactional analysis. Those are some of the intentions brewing today. What's alive for you, Samuel?
I just had my training session at the gym, and I have another person who spent the night here who sold me this equipment for getting a lot of nitric oxide moving in your body, but he didn't train me how to use the equipment, so he's here to show me. We're leaving next week on Tuesday to Mount Shasta for a week. I feel on top of my game. Just taking it, one step at a time. I rewrote. I'm doing the Conscious Life Expo and the workshop, the conference in Mount Shasta. So I have 2 shows ahead of me. So I rewrote my bio and my information about my presentation. I worked really hard on that last night. I woke up at 2 and had plenty of time, and came out pretty good. I went to Tony Camacho's birthday party in the park yesterday. Park was very beautiful at night. I'm not that engaged in the pandemic fear, blah, blah, blah. We have to have inner peace ourselves, and then things tend to feel more peaceful. I think wanting to create peace for the world is almost a pipe dream right now. That when we have more inner peace, we can contribute just by being. And a lot of people don't have peace, and they project it onto the world, and they say we need peace in the world, but they're not at peace.
I totally agree with you. It's a big world peace is a huge task and not so easy. But, or I should say, and I'm interested in if we're peaceful enough internally,
Yeah.
us, and we have our self peace, the
Yeah.
vibrations that that brings around us.
Yes.
If you're peaceful, Pauline, for example, isn't going to be triggered as much. Like, your house can become peaceful, but if you're agitated, the house, right, you
Happy
ping off
wife,
each other.
happy life.
Yeah, Bonnie's similar with Joel, right? If you're in that calm, transcendental place, Joel's going to be, it's going to be contagious for Joel too, right? Or not so much?
I can try because he is driving me absolutely insane.
Just another form of love. That's all.
Yeah,
Maybe.
we got to
Yeah.
get our world peace starting in Sherman Oaks, maybe, and it can vibrate out
Yeah.
from Sherman Oaks.
It's a very interesting dilemma. There's a big protest of the people who want freedom, don't want to be clamped down in Santa Monica. It's
Oh, really?
it's all the people who are being affected, who are being forced to take vaccines from their because of their work situation. They're all coming together. Last week there was a protest in front of this LA City Hall, and the Antifa and some of the protesters were fighting, and someone got knifed.
Yeah, I saw that on the
Wow.
news. Yeah, it's scary.
So it's like it's not too tempting to want to go to that. But there's going to be a lot
Yeah.
of people. Very big event.
Yeah, I
Well
wouldn't want to be
publicized.
around that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to get in the middle of something like that.
Mm.
But yeah, it's scary because now I know people, even if they're vaccinated, are getting COVID.
How's that possible, Bonnie?
Well, they say that the vaccines aren't 100%. The people tend to have very, very, very mild cases rather than winding up in a hospital or on a ventilator. But it's extremely transmissible, the Delta. I mean,
You know, what's interesting is the people who are vaccinated are saying the unvaccinated people are spreading the COVID. And the people who are not vaccinated are saying the vaccinated people are spreading the COVID. So depends on your belief system.
I know they're, just lost my thought. Oh, they were saying that, well, yeah, I mean, they say that the unvaccinated people, that if COVID stays around, then it mutates more. And, um,
So on this theme of world peace, sorry guys, I'm just so bored with the vaccine talks.
The
On
narrative.
this theme of the narrative, not narrative fighting, this being transcendation without bypassing the whole thing, actually transcend with this theme of peace. And I want to hear you in a moment, CM. But I'm super curious about this middle stage of, and if you guys think this is naive, please let me know. But this brilliant example, Samuel, of bringing peace to an antagonistic situation, like a protest. So whatever side you're on, pro-vax, anti-vax, there's definitely a duality and there's definitely conflict. So before we think about world peace, let's think about peace between narrative, not narrative. I believe this, I believe that. Science is saying this, doctors are saying that, and back and forth. Like it's a war, right? On one level, or at least a massive conflict. Is it naive of me to think, wow, let's go bring some peace to a protest situation? What were we going to say, see him?
In response to what you just said, firstly, I think we can resolve matters without creating a war or someone getting knifed or someone being really badly hurt. I think we can resolve matters. Just there is always going to be a difference of opinion because humans have always had differences of opinions. But I do think there's other ways of resolving this than violence. Violence shouldn't even be an option. And I think if people were to bear that in mind, then we wouldn't have half the problems that we do.
Yeah. So let me So I've seen him. I've been in Costa Rica, between Costa Rica and Mexico for 9 months, and I'm really deep in the jungle of Costa Rica
How's your
right now.
Spanish?
Es más o menos. No practicar mi español.
That's not being realistic. You need to improve your Spanish.
It's more the cicadas right now that I'm communicating with. Tell me, you all, if this is like naive. Back to that perfect example with the knife fight. I don't know if the jungle's been mucking with my head too much and being with these amazing high vibration people. Do you think it's possible to get your vibration up so high where you could go to like a protest and calm it down enough so this person isn't motivated to bring out a knife and stab someone, cut someone? Like,
Yeah,
is peace contagious?
yeah, definitely, because they need to see the bigger picture, that that person who's standing opposite them has the right for an opinion as well. And it's about taking that control away. Why should anyone feel that they can control someone else, like making them forced to take the vaccine? It's free will. If you don't want to take the vaccine, that's fine. And there have been some, you know, I've read quite a lot of bad things about this vaccine. It can create blood clots. So I'm not surprised that some people have their reservations.
Yeah, just it was funny. Literally, just last week, I was looking. It's not FDA approved. It's FDA. It's on an
Disapproved.
emergency thing.
Yeah.
What? No, I forget the exact term, but it takes months, like to study it and know it's brand new. Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah, what happened to free will? Like, the fear, and again, I don't want to get too meta, but that's just where I'm at right now. There's so much fear going on. Can't we slow down and just say, wow, okay, yes, death is scary and viruses can be scary, but does it help us health wise to be in all this fear when we can just, look at it rationally, slow down, and yeah, think it through, bring some peace in. Where are you located, Siham? Are you in England?
Yeah, I'm in the south coast near the sea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I do think, yeah, what you just said regarding slowing down, and just taking time back to just observe the situation, and not be so argumentative with each other. you know have you
And
taken
yeah,
the
and then
vaccine? Can I ask if you've taken the vaccine? Or I'm not, I haven't taken the vaccine.
Joel and I have.
I personally have not. No, between Costa Rica and Mexico, there hasn't. Even if I wanted to, there really isn't access.
No.
And I just want to give it some time before I
Yeah.
even consider it. It's
Like a
Wise
year or
choice.
two.
yeah, it's not even 6 months old yet. You know, but yeah, I support Bonnie and Joel, and I support everyone's free will. It's really the judgmental for me. The judgmentalness hurts. I ask that people not judge me for my decisions, and I work hard to not judge others for their decisions.
But I think it's important to understand, that everyone has a difference of opinion, and to respect that. And I think it should start here. I really do think it should start here, and definitely. I have my reservations as well. I haven't had children yet, and we don't know what that does to the fetus, for the fetus and the unborn child, and the future of the unborn child. I mean, we don't know if it changes your DNA, and I've heard all kinds of things. So I'm standing back from this, and I'm just observing at the moment.
yeah, back to that slowing down, I just don't see a rush. And it is amazing. Yeah, Bonnie, I've heard of many, at least 6 or 8 friends now who have been vaccinated who have gotten COVID. And I'm like, well, what's the point? You know,
Mhm.
I could be naive. It'll be interesting to see what
They tend
happens.
to
It
get
doesn't.
much more minor cases, but interesting as we're talking about this, I am realizing this is bringing up father stuff for me because my father always he loved arguing, loved debating, well, one-sided debating, and he would just get in the mood to have an argument and scream and rage, and no matter what I said, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. And lately I've been working a lot on it when I hear his voice saying that's his voice. He's wrong. He's so, but interesting. It's bringing up a lot of stuff. And then when Joel, that's bringing up father stuff too. Because lately, I don't seems to, I don't know, disagree on. I don't know. It's very difficult. So, yeah, it's a hard time.
So
This
tying
isn't
that in,
this isn't an argument, it's a discussion. It's totally different energy.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I guess I've had the unfortunate thing of lots of time being around who just people, no, you're wrong. You're not doing that. But I'm just saying it's reminding me of a lot of, no, you're not doing that. You guys aren't doing that at all.
Some
But
people
just
do that
being,
though. They do turn a debate
yeah,
into quite a heated argument, and I think that's when you should know the
yeah.
boundaries. And yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That's
and
it's reminding me of things. Not you guys aren't doing that though. No.
that's where it's very important to bring in the transcendation piece. How do we transcend it? So back to what I heard you say, Bonnie, in your intentions, this intention of chunking down that we've talked about multiple times, to get into the moment and everything. Uh, when it comes up, a trigger moment, like, oh, an argument, and I remember my father and how dominant he was and how much he loved arguing, to chunk it down, like Samuel was saying and CM was saying, wait, in this moment, obviously my father's not here, something comes up, but chunk it down to remembering, oh yeah, um, my father's not here right now. Taking that breath,
Yeah.
this isn't an argument. This is a discussion, right? Um, and
Definitely.
then, yeah, that moment can become longer. And like Stihem was saying, and we were saying earlier, yes, it takes a lot of work to rewire it, but the transcendent celebratory state there, as we rewire more and more and have longer periods of time without hearing our Father's voice, pretty worth celebrating. Yeah.
Can you please tell me what are you talking about? I'm just joining the session right now.
Yes, sure. We're at the beginning, we stated our intentions, what we're working on, what's alive, and the conversation started talking about world peace and more personal, how we can have personal peace, less judgmentalness, so we can start having more transcendent vibrations around us and relate a little better and judge a little less and have some acceptance. That's kind of been the thrust of the conversation, but um, we'd love to hear what's alive for you and what your intentions are, what you would like to transcend or celebrate with us here at Transcendation.
Yeah.
Are you in India?
Yes.
Nice.
What part? What part of India?
I'm from Pakistan.
Pakistan. Huh.
Hello, Akbar.
Hello. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Welcome to the group.
Okay.
Can I ask, What is that noise in the background, or is it something to do with my phone? There's some kind of technical sound wave.
That might be the cicadas from the jungle. Let me mute and
Oh, wow. Oh, that's amazing. No, 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 leave it on. I like that.
yeah,
Oh, thank
this
you.
is the jungle view of Costa Rica where I am,
Oh,
and
wow.
for better or worse, these new nice fancy headphones pick up really good audio, and so yeah, right in the jungle, 20 feet away, the
Wow.
cicadas are busy mating. So yeah,
What
if you
are,
hear that,
sorry, I'm a bit naive. What are
Mhm.
cicadas? They some kind of
they're,
bird?
they're no, they're kind of like a really big grasshopper, almost the size of like my fist, and they
Oh my
rub their
goodness.
legs together and produce that noise. And
Wow.
yeah, there's some really amazing jungle life all
Loud
around
You're not
cricket.
far from
Costa Rica.
snakes. You're not far from snakes and reptiles, are you?
No, I just was jogging 2 days ago and ran past a cobra, not a cobra, but a viper, the red, black, yellow. I mean, it was beautiful, beautiful snake. But
Mm,
yeah, I just found out from people here super
oh,
venomous.
gosh.
Yeah.
I
We
think
do
the
live the dangerous
cicadas, they come up once every 17 years from under the earth. Is that true?
I've heard that certain species of cicadas, yeah. There's multiple different types of cicadas, but there are ones that, yeah, it's 9 and or 17 years. Yeah, they're underground otherwise.
Interesting, though. We hear them a lot, and it certainly feels more, unless they're very loud crickets or something. They seem more, much more frequent than that. But you know, I've heard that too.
By the way, are you from Mr. Prasad?
I just spent 20 years in LA, but I left LA in October. I've been between Costa Rica and Mexico, and hoping for India and Nepal to be open soon, so I can go back to
Yeah.
India, and um, very soon I'd like to visit Pakistan also. Yeah.
He
What
lost
time is
his
it at the?
he lost his shirt in the process.
Morning, Joel. You're muted. Just a second.
I don't know
Okay.
if I'm in India.
I don't know.
How do you say please help me in Hindi? Namaste.
Basically, I'm not from India. I'm from Pakistan.
Oh, Pakistan, that's right. Drat it. Okay. Thank
Go
you.
away.
Are you living in India now?
No, I'm in Pakistan.
When I went to India 4 years ago, I asked my bank to give me some money to spend in India, and what are they called? Rupees, and they gave me rupees. I think it was $1,000 rupees, and when I got to India, they were Pakistani rupees.
Oh,
So nobody would take the money, and they also said it was
Hi
illegal.
there.
It was.
It's currently 9:50 a.m. with a current temperature of
It's also illegal for me to have the Pakistani rupees in India.
yeah.
People laughed at me. So when I got back to the United States, I told the bank I want my money back. You screwed up my trip. So they reluctantly gave it back to me. I didn't go to Pakistan. Maybe I should have.
That's a shame.
It's only money. I just had to carry the money all through the trip. Why is Pakistan and India, why aren't they having peace between them?
I don't know, but yeah, there's a political differences there. But we as a people are so love for each other. and I am on in 2011. I gone to India, and it's a great country.
Are they different religions?
Yes, there's a lot of religions in India, but major is Hindu, and the major of Pakistani religion is Muslim.
Okay, there you go. That's a good reason to fight.
Yeah.
Who's telling the truth? My way or the highway.
Well, it's an ironic reason to fight. Religions talking about love and peace and getting along. Yeah, very interesting. I watched. Have you ever seen, Samuel, the at the India-Pakistan border? There's a whole pageantry. It's really interesting to look at on YouTube, right? Akbar is how we
Yeah,
pronounce it.
yeah,
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 every day the changing of the guard. There's a whole interesting.
yeah.
Um, yes, it's worth it on YouTube, Samuel. Taking
Like the
a
British
couple of
changing of the
minutes.
guard?
Kind of, but it's a whole military routine thing. Yeah, it's an
Yeah, I'm
interesting
gonna put
little
that on
thing.
my things to do page. Changing of the guard
Yeah.
for both of them?
Yeah. We have
Mhm.
just a week before our Independence Day.
Is that 1949?
1947, 14th of
47.
August.
47.
How does it feel to be independent?
Yeah.
What's it like to be independent? We used to have independence in the United States.
Basically, before 1947, India and Pakistan are merged country, and before their religion, there's a lot of issue there. That's why the partition.
I see.
Prashad,
Yes.
is Karuna, is she attending this session?
Unfortunately, today Karuna Dera is at a constellation healing event this morning, so she's not here today. She'll be back with us next week.
So are we doing any group are we doing any transcending today, or?
Yes, thank you, Luis. It's a really fun, interesting, at least for me, watching from facilitator eyes, this dance between the personal transcendation, the group, the 5, 6 of us, however many are participating, and then sometimes we can start worrying about the world and the war and the Pakistan India border and Afghanistan and vaccine and COVID and here and there. And all that is very real and very alive and can get esoteric. So thank you, Luis, for bringing us back into what's alive for us and how, with this half an hour we have left together, can we support each other. So with that, yeah, I'll invite you to share anything that you have for intentions or would like to transcend or celebrate with us.
Yeah. Well, I really, wow. I have a lot of emotions at the moment, and I'm feeling very unable to cope with them. So I'm distressed. I have a lot of emotional pain at the moment, and in terms of transcending, I mean, there are things to ameliorate, to make better the emotional, or maybe not to make the emotional pain better, but to bring me into the present. So to bring me into what my life is today, now, and what it could be in the future. There's also a load of other stuff going on in my life, which I'm not in control of, which is impacting on me and heightening the emotions that I'm feeling. So really, all of this goes back to when I was 18 years of age. At 18, the brain is very underdeveloped. So it's very different. So an 18-year-old's brain is incredibly different to a 28-year-old's brain. And there is the aspect or the fact that a man's brain is bigger than a female's brain. And
it doesn't do him much good, but that's a different story.
Are you putting down the brotherhood?
He's being honest.
so at 18, I had a child's brain that was bordering on an adult's brain, but was nothing like a 28-year-old male's brain. And at the age of 18, I had a relationship which was short, but very intense and very real with a 28-year-old male. So I guess for him, it would have been like having a relationship with a child in terms of brains, because certainly I can recall at the age of 28, my brain was nothing like his brain was at the age of 28. My cognitive ability,
One second.
In that he was a man and I was a woman, so still at the age of 28, there was a difference between me and him from what I can recall of him at the age of 28. So I just wonder, well, I don't wonder. I mean, after, I don't wonder, I know. I know that this happened either unconsciously or consciously. But I know that he caused me to have a breakdown. So after the relationship ended, I had a breakdown, and I know that that was because of him. And I now at my age, I sort of understand that he probably had, or I don't think he probably had, I sort of have the feeling, and I don't know, sometimes you can feel things, but those feelings aren't necessarily the reality of things. So sometimes your feelings, I've heard things about feelings, and so something can feel something but not be something, or there's a whole load of stuff about feelings that I haven't ventured into and do not understand. But the feeling that I had and the intuition that I have now is possibly that he had mummy issues. And I can't be 100% sure of that because I don't know enough about mummy issues.
Well, I'll pause you there for a moment.
What I feel,
because I will just state what you feel in a moment, but first I will guarantee you 100% that he had mommy issues.
yes.
We all have mommy
Lots
issues.
of, yes, yes.
I just wanted to be clear on that. Yes, and I'm not discounting what you're saying, some more than others. Okay.
Yes,
But
yes,
I just wanted to be clear. You can remove that doubt.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
That
yes,
doubt can be removed.
Yes, great. Thank you for validation. Yeah. So I've now decided that I need to find this man. So this man might be dead. I don't know, but he left his parting words to me were, if you need me, you know where to find me. So, I don't need him. I need to have an understanding of my emotions, and I need to sort of I mean, it seems that the first 18 years of my life, I was in some sort of I don't know how to put this. It just really seems that I was conditioned to meet someone like him. I mean, he did a lot of good things as well. He taught me that the first 18 years of my life, I didn't know love. You know, I didn't know love. And possibly he showed me love. But also there's I have the other sort of feeling, possibly he was, well, no, it's not possible. I mean, he was abusive. He was nice, but he was also abusive, in the sense that he said things which were hurtful to me. So, and I just wonder if what he offered me was implicit abuse rather than the explicit abuse that I had experienced up until then in my life.
Gotcha.
So
Okay,
I need to
Luis,
take in, yeah.
yeah. Before you arrived, we had a couple of great things we were talking about in Transcendation here. One was slowing down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. That was nice. Can we take a couple breaths together? Good. Just slowing it down. If you'll allow me, I would very much like to offer to you that abuse is abuse, be it explicit, implicit, conscious, unconscious, it
Can I
doesn't
stop
matter.
you? Taking on board the mummy
Yes.
issues he had, he may not have been able to have understood the impact of what he was doing to me, but then that's letting him off in a way, that's sort of giving him an excuse. I don't know. I'm just
Exactly.
trying to, yeah. So
Yeah.
yes, it
No, you
was
hit the nail
abuse.
on the head. Yeah.
Um,
So
he talked about me whipping him. So I didn't want to manipulate him. I don't want to manipulate anyone. So I don't know if that's what he was looking for, but I wasn't wanting to give that to him. And I don't know, maybe he just had blind spots. I don't know. But I just know I've got
okay.
a whole load of emotions that are really sort of
Yes. I understand. So can we slow down again, Luis? Can we take another big breath together? Good, because also right before you arrived, we were talking about I'm not going to say difficulty of rewiring. I'm going to say the practice necessary to rewire old things, past things. Because if my memory's correct, this was over 20 years ago, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So for 20 years, this has been festering, hence all the emotions. Yes? Yes. Okay. So Sihem and I were talking a few minutes ago about it takes some effort to rewire some of the past. Okay. So we just want to honor that first and foremost. After we slow down, which you're doing great at, I love your breathing, doing good. Next, we just want to honor that it takes time. And Bonnie and I were just talking about this too. You know, the voices, there's mom, we all have mommy issues, we all have daddy issues, right, to differing degrees. So it's not just him, it's not just me, it's not just you, it's all of us. And it can take time to rewire those. So here at Transcendation, thank you, Luis, for the opportunity to bring in, I wouldn't say my favorite part, but I should say, and we do a lot of celebration. Okay. So first and foremost, I want to go back to the first thing you said. You said there's a lot of emotions right now and a lot of pain. But I want to take this moment as we breathe and slow down to celebrate with you that you're still here. And you're not losing yourself. You're not screaming or crying or hysterical as, happened in the past. but you can remain present with us in this meeting of really great people. Bonnie just texted, she has to step out. She'll be great. We've known her for a long time. Wonderful human being. Sihem is studying to be a counselor, and Akbar is bringing peace between Pakistan and India. So you're in a great place to celebrate and rewire. And if you can feel that at all, um, I'm going to take my 20 years of training and offer you a huge piece of advice if you'd be willing to take it. That might be a hair challenging. Um, are you up for a little bit of challenge?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. Sometimes it's really beneficial visiting the past and digging into it and really reconstituting, that's a fancy word, digging into the past and really trying to get to the bottom of it. Sometimes, without bypassing, it's advisable to leave the past in the past.
Uh, uh, um,
Hold on, almost
um,
done.
mm,
Specifically, if someone abused you, which happened, I would strongly, strongly, strongly say not a good idea contacting them. There are techniques, there are things we can do to get peace and resolution without having to have direct contact. Does this, how is this landing, Luis? Are you still breathing?
yes. I sort of made a promise, you know. I gave him my glove, and in the 19th century, New York City, Sotheby's, they had an exhibition in 2015, I think 13th of September, something like that. And in the 19th century, 18th century, people would give their gloves as a symbol of fidelity and loyalty for hundreds of years to come. So you see that the kings in Europe, lots of women would give them a glove, and that was a symbol of that person being the best lover that they had had. If you give someone two gloves, that's a sort of indication that you want to be their lover. So the glove as a piece of attire, as a piece of clothing, it's very symbolic. And I wonder why I did that, why I unconsciously dropped my glove in the street, and why he found my glove and returned it to me. And I understand that that's a piece of symbolism, and I shouldn't take any notice of symbolism. And probably that's more to do with my character than anything sort of to do with sustaining and managing a relationship, and whether or not it's best to go back to a relationship if you feel you've been hurt by someone.
Let's slow down again. Let's slow down again for a moment if we can. Who says you shouldn't pay attention to symbolism? Symbolism is very real. That's first. So yeah, I'm with you. I totally view it as symbolic. And we're talking about the past.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, this glove situation happened a long decades ago. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, a long time ago, decades ago, there was symbolism. There was some energy. Something happened.
Yes.
Decades ago.
Energy, yes.
Also, decades ago, abuse happened. And no one here, I'm sorry, can convince me that abuse is okay. We can analyze it and look to why it happened, and mommy abused me and daddy abused me, and that doesn't make it okay.
this man, he didn't know love. So this man didn't know what it meant
Bingo.
to be.
Bingo.
Yeah. So
Bingo. So right now, I heard you say a couple minutes ago you were interested in, you were very seriously contemplating some communication with what you just said a couple seconds ago with the man who doesn't know love and didn't know love. And with 3.5 billion men on the planet, I very strongly think your energy, your precious dwindling energy and time would be better spent communicating with men who are capable of love. Does this make sense what I'm saying, Luis?
that takes a whole load of new wiring. You see, I traveled up north. I went to a different country, and I found the same men, not the same men, men who were behaving like him. So I don't know what their histories were, and I don't know what they had to offer me, but that was what he said to me. So he asked me to marry him, and he also said, you can have my brother as well. So I traveled, and I met two men, and they were behaving exactly, and they were both fishing. They were both looking for a woman. They were traveling to look for a woman. They were so I don't know, that takes a whole load of different wiring, because it seems I am programmed to look for some sort of type of behavior. And I don't know if the behavior that I've been programmed to look for is men with mummy issues, men who don't know love. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't.
Whoa, hold on. Let's slow down again. I will challenge that because I heard you talk very clearly. You do know. You actually do know that in the past there was some wiring towards, let's say, unhealthy guys. But now here we are in this moment, August 21st, and you have new levels of awareness. And you're with a group of people supporting your transcending of these past patterns. There's a person studying here to be a counselor. Let's check in with her if she can still hear everything and see if she agrees with the stuff we're saying here, the possibilities of rewiring. See him?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah.
Let me-
Well, can you share with Louise what we were talking about earlier about the amount of effort it takes to rewire old patterns?
yeah, it does take time to rewire your brain. I mean, I've had similar experiences with men in the past. I used to meet a lot of violent men. I just used to be, well, they were drawn to me or I was drawn to them. I don't know how it worked, but I would always end up with a violent man, one after the other. But I stood back and I observed the situation, and it's about changing your mentality and sort of gaining sight of the pattern of behavior that what's going on. And sometimes when a man hits you once, it's just best to walk away rather than sort of stay and try and work on him and try and change him. So that's what I always say to myself. It's hard to pick the ones who aren't violent because you just don't know. You meet a man and you fall in love, and then sometimes they end up being violent later on. So it's always just
the violent thing doesn't apply to me because he was never violent towards me.
But I'm talking about abuse of any kind.
Abusive,
Sorry.
yeah, it doesn't have to be physical. Mental, emotional, verbal. There's abuse is abuse, right, Siham? Right, Bonnie?
Yeah. And if it happens once, then it's going to happen again. So it's best to just to go, really, and be strong.
Yes,
I mean,
be strong.
what I learned from him is that up until meeting him, there was explicit abuse. And now I'm at the stage where I'm questioning, as he was 10 years older than me, whether or not he understood that he was, he didn't know anything about women. He didn't know anything about relationships. So I have to ask myself and be honest with myself if he understood that he was being abusive towards me. And if that was what he intended, if that was how he intended to be towards me,
To the
asked
degree you have
myself,
any,
I have
hold
to
on,
ask
let's slow
myself,
down
did he
again.
do what he did
You,
in order to keep
Luis,
Hmm,
please, let's slow down.
sorry. Yeah, okay. I'll
It's
slow
okay.
down.
Thank you. What I will offer to you is, you just said twice within 30 seconds. I have to ask myself, did he know? Was he aware of it? And I humbly and strongly challenge that notion that you have to ask yourself.
Oh.
You are a powerful, intelligent being with free will, at least of your thoughts. Okay. Yes, you may be in jail and you may even be subject to patterns, but you can choose what questions you ask, and you can choose where you energetically put your attention. I don't know if you were on when we were talking with Bonnie earlier about where we put our attention. Do we focus on what our dad was saying, or do we focus on this present moment, where we choose our attention? So I don't agree with you, and we got two ladies here, and Akbar might have stepped away. If you ladies disagree, fine, speak now. But um, I strongly petition that you don't have to ask yourself if he knew what he was doing, if he knew what he was abusive. This was decades
Okay.
ago. You don't have to ask yourself. Bonnie and CM, if you disagree with me, hop in.
Isn't that a way of rewiring, though, if I ask myself what I isn't it a way of asking myself what I was looking for? So if I'm aware of whether or not he knew whether or not he was abusing me, isn't it a way of, how do I rewire? How do I?
Yeah,
I think you need
great,
some answers,
perfect
don't
question.
you? I think she needs some answers.
Yeah. No,
Where,
you
yeah.
go ahead, Tim. Sorry. Yeah. Go.
Yeah, it's just a case of, where do these answers come from? Do they come from within, or do they come from him?
Yes. Yeah. That's what I'm. Yeah. Yeah.
No, slow down
Okay.
again. Did you hear Sihem's question? Where is your energy going? We're talking about rewiring now. If your energy is going towards him, you're still in that pattern and in that loop, trying to figure out him. Did he know? Did he not know? What was our relationship? I heard Sihem offer you the opportunity to look inwards. What in me is attracting these guys?
Which
What patterns
is
are here?
which is um what I felt he was suggesting I do. So, which is what I'm doing. I'm doing two things. I'm wanting to look for him and ask him, and I'm also wanting to look inwards. And either way, I'm doing what he seemed to think I should do anyway.
Okay, yeah. But slowing
It's
down
a choice
again,
of,
slowing down again. As everyone here can attest to, it's a lot of work, sincerely and deeply looking in with the intention of rewiring. That's
yeah,
plenty right there, Luis. You don't
yeah.
need to look out and find him and talk to him and get answers from him. There's enough answers in here. Let's spend our energy looking inward, not looking inward and outward, because that can be a
Okay,
diversion.
okay, but
Okay.
there
If
is
we focus on
also.
this,
Mm,
there's also what?
there's also that life goes past, and sometimes people want connection with the outer world. Sometimes people want symbolism, so things which other people recognize as being who they are through the symbolism that they carry with them. And I guess having an attachment to him is to do with how people view me on the outside. That's what that's about. That's about my place in this world. That's about my identity within the world. on the world stage in everyone's view of me. So I understand everything's within myself, and that's enough. I
Good.
do
Yeah, that's a
understand that.
great starting point. And a sneak preview for the future, more to celebrate. Okay. Again, back to what I said earlier, celebrating the fact that you're here. At Transcendation, we do lots of things, but one key thing we do is rewire together. So, to what you just said, how I show up in the world was dictated by him, sure, in the past and other patterns, but here we are rewiring, right? And we start looking inward, and then we come to meetings like this. We share with each other, we check in with each other. Okay, I just said if you ladies disagree with me, if Akbar disagrees, speak. I don't have all the answers, and we all have different snippets of wisdom. But if four people say to me, "No, Prasad, you're viewing it wrong," I'll say, "Great, thank you. I'm gonna agree with four people." You know, and if four people say, "You know what? Let's focus on inward right now, not focus on someone who abused us significantly in the past," you can probably take that to the bank and celebrate that we are creating new relationships, new relating skills and abilities, doing what's the word? Courageous things like showing up at meetings like Transcendation and sharing deep things. Does this make sense, Louise?
Yeah, but I think maybe I've just come back with you to where I started with this group, which was that I wanted to be emotionally safe. So for me, it's just about knowing where my boundaries are and who has crossed them, who has hurt me. That's all that it is for me, it seems. Yeah, because I mean, even within a group like this or within any group, it doesn't mean that someone's not going to violate a boundary or someone's not going to say something that you're going to feel affected by in a way that you don't want to feel affected by, or I mean
Of course,
I
100%.
mean
And this is where you need to check in your feelings. If you don't feel safe, you can leave and don't go back, just like a relationship. Or
mhm.
you can say, hey, you know what, facilitator, it doesn't feel safe right now. The facilitator can apologize and fix it, or there can be a discussion around it.
Well, yeah,
And back to that celebration, that even with all the pain, we can breathe, look at the people here, and feel the safety that we create together. There's 3 people in the waiting room in Zoom who I'm not going to let in because it would change the feeling we've created here. It would alter the safety. They can come back to the next meeting. More important is who's here. Can you feel the safety now, Luis? Can you,
yes, yeah,
with the
yeah,
breath, there you go. Breathe
And the
in the
thing
safety.
and the thing is, Louise, even if you were to confront your ex, he might say something that you don't want to hear. You know, you probably just want to hear an apology from him, but there's no guarantees that he is going to be sorry for all the pain that he's inflicted on you, and then you're putting yourself in a position of disappointment. And I think
I'm
he was
not.
hurting as well. I think that he was
He was
hurting as
hurt.
well.
Yes, yes, yes. um
Yeah,
i'm
and that he
not
had
sure I'm not sure what I want from him, so I guess I guess that's the first hurdle for me. What do I want? What am I looking for from him that I can't do or obtain from somewhere else? Or I mean, what is it about him? I mean, I think probably that's the first thing that I need to be clear about.
definitely. I think you need to think about that. What is it you're
Yeah,
looking for? Are
yeah,
you looking for
yes,
an
yes,
apology? Are
yes.
you looking for remorse from him? Or are you just looking to forget about him and just move on? What is it? What is it that
um
you're
I guess I guess maybe just to tell him he hurt me. And then I guess you would say I want an apology. I guess to tell him that he hurt me, and to find out where he is in life, what happened to him, you know, how life has been for him. I guess to understand if he meant for me to have the life that I've had since I left him. And also to tell him that I will love him for hundreds of years to come, you know me.
Closure. Yeah, closure, I guess.
Yeah, Louise, I guarantee you, like to echo what CM was saying, it will yield a lot back to this inquiry point and going inwards. It would yield a lot asking yourself, what would I want with a communication from him? What would that give me? You know, what's the motivation there? This is a very good line of inquiry as we direct our energy towards looking inward versus looking outward. Okay.
I guess I'm
I'm
asking myself, what do I want from my life? What how do I want to go forward in my life? So now, this is the age at which I told him I would be ready to have all of the things he was offering me then. And so I guess I'm just at that age now where I'm asking myself, well, what do I want now in life? Now that I've had what the freedom that I've had away from him, what could he offer me at this age now for my life going forward? And what could I do in my life without him? What do I want?
Yeah, these are great questions, and to tie it all up to what we were talking about right before you joined is it takes time and energy to rewire and just even explore and get answers to these questions, because these are questions for all of us. What do we want in life? You know, how we start group transcendation is what are our intentions? You know, and they're changing and evolving and growing as we change and evolve and grow. So yeah, thank you. And before we close up, I wanted to take a moment and invite everyone. Next Saturday, we have breath work at this time. And we do a pranayama yoga practice. We get together as a group and we breathe. And if you haven't done breath work, it's really delightful to be with others breathing. And if you have, then you know how wonderful it is being together for that. So that's next Saturday. And every day we do at 9 a.m. a brief invocation, get together and just bring in some spiritual energy. So those are the upcoming things here at Souls Enterprise. But before all that, or with all that, let's close up today. Um, we close like we opened. We have a few moments of silence to have some integration, to bring in everything that we discussed in the transcendation, slowing down, the possibility of world peace, how it starts with us as we drop judgmentalness, chunking down our father voice, mother voice, really dropping into ourselves what we want. A few moments of silence to bring it all together. And I'll ring the bell 3 times. And if you'd like to chant Om with me 3 times, we can put together all of the energy. Thank you, thank you, thank you all for coming to Group Transcendation, co-creating Group Transcendation. As always, I love leaving the meeting open for a while to socialize and enjoy. I'm gonna step aside. I have to run to the bathroom, but we leave it open for a few minutes to chat and say hello, and um, I'm gonna depart with a bunch of gratitude. Thank you all.
That you do this, because I see
Hi.
this with everybody I work with on the, gluing the instrument to
Today, hi.
hear something up.
Oh, Louise, hi.
Just
Hi.
How are you?
do that.
Okay.
What I see is that, we have
Yeah, a lot of this. What?
Oh, I heard a voice.
No, I was just saying that. Sorry.
That's some other voice.
We survive.
No, here.
And we calculate what those.
Sorry, today there was a music seminar that I'd signed up for and it overlapped. So I was like, oh, let me hear that a little. I'm a musician and composer, but yeah, usually I wouldn't do that, but I just wanted to catch this, talk about jazz improvisation. But yeah, well, yeah, a lot of feelings been coming up for me. So yeah, it's good to see you here. Akbar and how do you
Akbar.
Sihem.
Akbar and she, I forgot how you pronounce your name.
It's Sihem.
Siham Lichal.
Oh.
Yes.
See him?
See him. And Akbar.
Who is the
And
who,
Bonnie.
who is the picture of instead of Prasad? Who are those two? Do they sometimes?
It's Prasad and Karuna Dara. She's usually on with him, but today she's not. He said
she's
she's
right.
on another. Yeah. They're both usually on together.
She looks Moroccan. She looks the same nationality as me.
She's actually Mexican background. I
Close enough.
forgot if she was born in Mexico.